you would always want to be on the side of having good credit.
Do you think it's painful to have good credit? I preach this all the time to a lot of the customers who sign up for StirgusCreditRepair.com. A lot of these people that's in the credit repair industry are trying to push people to get in more debt. You know, I don't believe in putting yourself in debt or fixing your credit to get in debt, because what's the point of doing that? And you're just going to put yourself in a hole again. The whole idea of helping some of these people, at least the clientele that I market to, I try to push people to use their credit to purchase their first home, or refinance, or purchase a second home, or whatever the case is, because that is eventually going to eliminate the biggest expense that they have every month, is their housing expense. So if you're using your credit to purchase a home, clearly not everyone has 400, 500, $600,000 saved up in their bank today to just write a check for a home. So if you can get a head start and use your credit to get ahead on lowering the biggest expense that you have every month and eventually pay off that debt, then you can use that money to invest. You can save for retirement better, or whatever the case is. So the whole idea of somebody getting a 50-year mortgage, that's just setting you up for making profits to the bank at that point. You're not going to do anything for yourself at that point.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, man.
Yeah.
That's a terrible idea. I'm glad they shot it down because, I thought the numbers would have been like 150 to 200 a month, maybe, or
Yeah.
whatever. Because once people also need to do research before they buy a house.
Oh, for
Just look
sure.
at if a family member, if you have a family member, just look at their bank statement and really see how much you paying towards the principal. And
Oh, yeah.
if you could, and where everything else go at, and if you could look at how much going towards the principal, you definitely would change that 50. You'll
Oh, for
change that
sure.
50 with mortgage idea. It might sound
Yeah.
like it's saving you almost. Because what I'm thinking is most people doing like the simple math and thinking, okay, well, if I got let's just say it's 60 years, we're gonna make it easy. The 60
Yeah.
years mortgage, and if your mortgage note 1,000, well, if it's 60 years, it's gonna be 500. Not
Yeah.
knowing that's not what it is. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
You saving, depending on how much house you buy, 150 to $300 a month. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And
Exactly.
and the thing about it is, you should really also look at how much will you be paying for this house at the end. You probably could have got about two houses with a
Yeah.
30-year. You know what I
After the
mean?
interest and
So
everything.
yeah, we have the interest. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So
And that's
um,
another thing that I had a conversation with James Joseph that I had on my previous episode. He's out in Dallas, and he brought up a good thing. He's like, well, look, buying a home, that sounds good, but initially it's not an investment. It's not an investment until it's saving you money. The whole idea behind using your credit to purchase a mortgage or purchase a home with a mortgage is because eventually that mortgage is going to be paid off, and
mm,
eventually you're going to have a $0 housing expense opposed
yeah.
to a $2,000 a month rent or mortgage payment. So no, buying a home right now today is not an investment if you're paying on it every single month, because you have property taxes, you have repairs, you have house improvements, you have
Mhm.
home insurance, you have all of these other things, and then you have a 6 to 7% interest rate. So I mean, you're not doing anything. And a lot of people, they argue, oh well, I bought a home for 300 grand 10 years ago, and right now is worth 380 grand, or is worth 400 grand. You probably, yeah, that's a good little increase in value, but did you really profit as much as you thought? You did not profit $100,000, because you
Mhm.
have your mortgage payment, you have interest that was added, you had repairs, you've had upgrades and add-ons. You're not
Mhm.
really profiting $100,000. But what I'm getting at, buying a home right now is not anywhere near an investment until it's saving you money or making you money. And that's a big understanding. I mean, a big misunderstanding that a lot of people have today.
Stirgus Credit Repair. Stirgus Credit Repair.